Hi there, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Rhiannon, and if you're not new here, we've probably been interacting on Instagram, and that's been really awesome, getting to know everybody on the online community. Today, we are going to be talking about some life hacks, things that I've learned in my time, and that is because I'm doing this because I turned 25 this weekend, which seems super weird to say that I'm gonna be in my mid-20s out of my early 20s. And I don't know, I was that kid at like 15 or 16. I had a breakdown because I just felt like, I don't know, life was going by so fast. And of course that seems really dumb looking back on it, but you can ask my parents, it was a whole thing. Anyway, I guess I've just always had a bit of an awareness of time and how precious it is and how we want to make the most of it. And that's kind of what I'm talking about today. Like everybody, I have good days and bad days. There's an ebb and flow to life. And I think a big piece of that is just noticing the ebb and flow and knowing yourself and having an awareness to get yourself back on track, on a path, and living a life that you actually want to be living so that you're running your life and your life is not running you. A lot of these things are just things that I've accumulated throughout my life, and some I learned in college. Professors would give really insightful advice, and from my parents, just wherever in life, I've kind of picked up some general principles and policies, things that I try to keep in mind and follow to just keep living a life that I really love, and I want to help you all do the same thing. So let's just dive into it. The first one is get your butt out of bed earlier. This is a super cliche. I'm sure everybody has heard it before. If you're into personal development at all, if you do any research into this, this is very well known. It's just a fact. If you get up, if you get out of bed earlier, you will be happier. You will actually have more energy than if you hit the snooze button. It is scientifically proven that it's better to just snap out of bed when your alarm goes off instead of going back into another sleep cycle. Just get out of bed. Tip number 2, get yourself organized. And this is another cliche, something that you know or you've heard before or people have recommended to you. This was advice that I gave to my sister through school, and she was very annoyed with me for a time, and now we joke, she's like, I've reached enlightenment. So it works. Get yourself a planner that you like. Get a system for yourself that really works for you. What works for one person might not work for another. So I would love to share my planning process, but I think that's a video for another day. Know when to say yes and when to say no. There are some opportunities that it's really good to take advantage of them and you want to jump on it. And there are some times where people ask things of you or things that come up that it's okay to say no. Like for example, I have wanted to film this video for a long time. I've wanted to get started on this, and I work with my mom and my sister. We run a dance studio. I own a dance studio and they work with me on that. And you know, my mom wakes up in the morning and she texted me and wanted to talk about some work stuff for the dance studio, and I had to say, no, not right now. I have to finish this so that I can be fully present for when we're ready to do our dance studio work. And plus I was doing it until like 9 o'clock last night, and that was a boundary I should have set, but I didn't. So it's always a learning curve, you know, but it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to say no sometimes. Constantly spreading yourself too thin or saying yes to too many things, and you're not going to be able to show up as your best self in every aspect of what you're doing. Next tip is exercise. Our bodies were made to move, and it's really important that you find the movement for yourself that works really well. I'm a dancer. I still dance. I think I will always dance as much as I can. My husband is a personal trainer, and so I'm really into cross training and exercise. I love yoga. So find what works for you and what makes you happy, what you look forward to doing. For me, it's best to exercise first thing during the day if I'm going to be working out. If I'm dancing, normally I'll have a class in the evening. That's just kind of the way the company works, what time we take classes, typically at night. But if I'm working out, I do it first thing in the morning so that I have that good feeling to carry me throughout the day. It is true what Elle Wood said, endorphins make you happy, and that's the whole point, is the exercise is not only good for your body's health, but it will make you happier. Have very specific goals and also ways to prioritize those goals. I think having a morning routine is really helpful with this, taking time for yourself to reflect and really think about where you are, where you want to be, and how you're going to get there. I think one of the hardest parts of life in general is sometimes just answering the question, what do you want? Where do you want to go? What do you want to be? What are your goals? So it's important to take some time for reflection if you don't have those specific goals yet, to figure out what they are. So once you have goals that you're passionate about and you're ready to make effort to reach and attain all those things that you want, it's also important to remember that self-care is a thing and it's really important. There's so many videos and resources online about what you can do for self-care, what works for you, what you need. For me, that really looks like movement. In the morning, I do yoga, or I've already kind of mentioned this, but I'm a dancer. I dance in the evening, yoga in the morning, or training working out. That feeds me, that makes me happy, it makes me feel good. I also try to read. I really should prioritize that more, and I'm getting better about it. Having a morning routine and an evening routine has really helped. But I think the biggest message for self-care is that you can't show up as the best version of yourself for other people, to serve other people, if you're not taken care of as well. So you have goals, you're taking care of yourself. Now, categorizing priority versus urgency. This is something that Lavender, I think, talks about a bit, and as well as Michelle Beat. They're two of my favorite YouTubers. I will link them below. But basically, we get caught up in a lot of the busy work of life instead of actually doing the steps and actionable goals that will get us closer towards achieving our dreams. For example, with my dance studio work, where say my goal is I want to have a bigger student body, an actionable step towards that would look like actually working on my class schedule or marketing and that sort of thing. And the busy work, or what seems to be urgent stuff instead of the priority, are the 15 emails in my inbox from clients with random little questions that don't necessarily need to be answered right this minute. While they are important and I will get to them with designated time to do that soon, it's important to take care of the priority first, because that is what's actually going to get you closer to your goal. So establishing the difference between those two things has been really helpful for me, especially through quarantine, because doing the busy work will make you feel productive, but not necessarily get you further along in your journey. You want to remember that we are imperfect, we are human, and that is okay, and you need to forgive yourself for mistakes that you're going to make along the way to accomplishing your goals and your dreams. I used to be really bad about this. I'm the person where I would say something, or maybe be in an embarrassing situation like 10 years ago and remember it and feel embarrassed all over again, and that is not healthy. It's not good. It's not okay to beat yourself up about that sort of thing. We are imperfect, and we're gonna have little slip-ups or mistakes, or have people not necessarily be happy with us in a certain moment, and that is okay. That is going to happen. You are doing your best as long as you're taking actionable steps every day towards your goals, and you're doing the best that you can. That's what counts. And honestly, my husband has really helped me through that part of my journey, because I used to be really like self-deprecating and hard on myself for things like that, and he would just say like, who cares? No one's gonna remember that embarrassing moment in 10 years except you. Like, that's just the truth. Just let it go, make mistakes, take action. You just get better. That's what happens. And just the mere fact that you found this video, which means that you're probably looking for personal development material. Just the fact that you're doing that is a step in the right direction. And so we're gonna make mistakes. Just accept it and let it go. This piece of advice I got from my mother, and she continues to remind me of this while I remind myself of it. And it is so true, and has honestly helped me accomplish so much more than I could have ever dreamed. And that is, the worst someone is going to say to you when you ask for something is no. Sounds simple, but it's so true. If you're nervous to ask for that thing, to go after that opportunity, whatever it is, if you're in a situation where you're nervous about a response that someone might give you, the worst they're gonna say is no, and you move on. Like, if they say no, who cares? You're on to the next thing. So just ask, just go for it. The worst they're gonna say is no. I tell myself this all the time, and it has put me in so many amazing situations and gotten me so much further than I could have imagined. It's really good advice. Thank you, Mom. I asked you guys on Instagram for anything that you might want advice on in your life, or things that you would like me to talk about in this video, and one of the questions I got was about motivation, on that topic of how to stay motivated, how to stay inspired. I got some advice from a professor in college that was really interesting, and he said that motivation or inspiration is crap. Now, I'm not sure if I'm of that mindset or if I'm on board with that. I do think that inspiration is real. I'd like to think I'm an artist through and through, choreography, writing, dancing, whatever it is. I have felt inspiration, and, that lightning bolt where you're just like, I have to create, or I really want to do this right now. That's, in my opinion, inspiration or motivation. I do think it's real, but I also think that a big part of being an adult and accomplishing your goals is doing things that you don't necessarily want to do in the moment, but you know you should do or have to do. So I think the key is, whether you believe motivation or inspiration is real or not, if it is there, if you're feeling inspired or urged to do something, capitalize on that, take advantage of it in that moment, create, do whatever it is that you're inspired to do, but then also find ways to tap into that when you need it and it might not be there. So I think it's not so much motivation or inspiration, but more discipline. And discipline is a practice. That is something that I think dance has taught me a lot about. Where say I'm really tired and I'm taking a dance class, but I want to do a good job. I want to make sure that my foot is really pointed or that my knee is really tight. So even if my thigh muscle is feeling really, really exhausted, I find the discipline to keep going. And that is something that I think translates to all aspects of life. Another reason why dance is awesome for everybody. My next tip has to do with your living environment. I am a believer that the space you are in can greatly impact your mood and therefore how you do everything. Investing in your space and giving yourself beautiful surroundings, in my opinion, is not a bad thing. I tend to feel guilty for spending money on home things or things that I just enjoy but that I like and not necessarily need. But I have found, like, as I've been assembling our home, it's been a few years, it takes time because things are expensive and we have a budget. You don't want to blow it all at once, and I'm not saying to do that. We've slowly accumulated furniture and things for our house to really make it feel like a lovely home. And that is worth doing. If it makes you happy and it makes your environment feel open and airy and clean and light and just good to be in, that is worth your time and your money within reason. If it's gonna make you feel and therefore perform in all aspects of your life better, then it's worth it, in my opinion. Finally, my last tip or piece of advice for this video for today is that happiness is a choice. In my opinion, it's not up for other people to make you happy. Happiness is something that you find within, and you have the power to create that in your own life. That is something that has helped me with my marriage, my relationship with my family, and just me and my work life. It's not a destination. Happiness is something that you have and take with you. And I'm not a life coach or a therapist or anything like that, but I just remember sitting on my bed as a kid, like, this is so funny. I guess I was like a really contemplative child. Maybe it was just in my head too much, but I remember sitting on my bed thinking about what I want to be when I grow up, which I'm sure at some point all of us kind of did. I thought to myself that I want to find a way to serve others with the talents and abilities that I have, and I didn't even know what those were at the time, but I knew I wanted to find ways to help other people, and I knew I just wanted to be happy. It wasn't what I want to be when I grow up. I literally remember saying to myself, I want to help people and I want to be happy. Whether I'm teaching my dancers or being a wife, a daughter, whatever that is, eventually a mother, I want to do what I do and be who I am so that I can inspire my students and eventually my kids and my family and you guys. So that's it. Those are my tips and things that I've learned in my 25 years, and I'm sure there's more to talk about. But if you have thoughts or other life hacks or opinions, please comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. I would love to talk to you on Instagram. It's been really fun getting to know everybody over there. So go follow Point and Pines and we can interact and get to know each other. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I really appreciate it. Love you all, and hopefully I'll see you at the next video. Bye. Okay, so I just finished filming and then saw on my Instagram that somebody asked me to talk about sleep, and really quickly on that topic, make sure you get enough of it. In general, I sleep pretty well. I think exercise has a lot to do with that. As soon as my head hits the pillow, generally I'm out, and Trav is the same way. So maybe that's the tip, is make sure you're exercising and moving your body enough so that you can shut down at the end of the day and get the rest that you really, really need, because you can't show up as your highest self if you're tired all the time.